be happy now? Can we be happy now? That was such a different way to start my podcast episode. But let us just get into the intro. I hope that got you like in the groove. I was busy vibing to Cali Uchis on the way here because I have got a splitting headache and I just needed something that was like kind of soothing to kind of soothe my brain. Did it work? Maybe not, but let's not get into that right now. Hello, you gorgeous, special, scrumptious, delicious human being that is listening to this podcast episode right now. Hi, are you well? Are you surviving? Are you thriving? Are you taking care of yourself? And most importantly, have you had a lovely day / start to your week? If not, I'm so sorry. I'm sending you lots and lots of love and lots of hugs. And I'm hoping that by, the end of this episode, we would have been able to make some sort of a difference, whether it's putting a small smile on your face, helping you learn a new perspective, something to kind of just, add some lemon zest to your day, because lemon zest is not always a bad thing. It can be like a sweet lemon zest situation and all of that. But yeah, welcome back to the Doing Life with Love and Magic podcast. If you don't know where you're at right now, my name is Ndwenhle. I am your hostess with the mostest, and this is the space whereby I just like to share my life's perspectives, my observations, things that make me feel excited, things that make me feel sad, things that make me feel frustrated, whatever it is, as I navigate clumsily through my 20s. And if that offers you any sort of comfort, entertainment, like a little aha moment, maybe even, or if it even teaches you what not to do, then this is the place for you. And if you don't find any value out of the podcast, that's okay too. There are plenty out there. Find somebody that you gel with, because that's the purpose of life. Why would you want to put yourself through something that just isn't for you, that you don't resonate with on a soul level? Ask yourself that question. Anyway, hi guys. Happy Monday. I'm so sorry if I'm a little bit extra, more extra than usual. My brain is literally shattered. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I have a little bit of a headache, but I've got some energy for some reason. And I feel like I started off the day like that as well. I literally woke up before I even was meant to wake up. And I was like, okay, I'm ready to wake up. Let me go to gym. And got up, got dressed, grabbed all of my things and was out. There was a hot second there where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so late. Get there just as the classes started. It was a little bit of a moment, because my usual instructor wasn't there, and I was low-key bummed out because I haven't been to his classes in 2 weeks. So I was like, no, I have to make it up this week. I was gonna go on Sunday, but it was pouring rain on Sunday, actually Saturday, and a little bit of the Sunday morning. I heard the rain and I was like, absolutely not. And on top of that, I went to bed quite late on the Saturday evening because I was watching the rugby, England versus South Africa. It was very intense and I needed to recover. And I'm not a girlie that regularly watches rugby, but this World Cup has had me in a chokehold. The past 2 games though, not the beginning ones. I could care less. But these last 2 ones, I've been oh my gosh, that time I've been stressed. Been super, super stressed. But it's kind of fun. And I love it when people come together, especially South Africa comes together and they get fucking excited about this one thing. I feel in South Africa, we have so many things that divide us. And we fight half the time, because load shedding and this and that and so many issues. But when it feels like the nation is coming together for a common cause like rugby, it's just so nice to see. It's so wholesome and exciting. And so I don't know, I felt a little bit of FOMO not participating in that. So yeah, I've been watching the games. It's been quite interesting. So yeah, that's kind of the update on that. And then so that was that. And then this morning, like I mentioned, I woke up, went to the gym, worked out, did my boxing class, which didn't really feel like a boxing class. It was like up, down, like pause, do this, squat, now punch the bag, and then skip, and then no rest, and it was a lot. But literally, as I was driving to work, I was like jamming, I was like booty shaking. I literally did get to a point though where I was feeling a little bit frustrated because like I was stuck in a bit of traffic, and I was like, wow, that just killed the vibes. That just killed the mood. I'm out here like sipping on my smoothie, and now I'm stuck in traffic, and it's just not vibing. But got to work feeling in high spirits, but I just feel like the day spiraled on, and I actually don't know where my day went. So much for being productive. But I feel like I'm more productive when I work from home, when I can actually concentrate and be like, this is how I'm structuring my day. I'm focusing on this, and then that's how I like tick things off. And I've been really productive working from home these past, a couple of weeks. And it's been really nice. So I'm going to keep that ball rolling. Maybe it would be good to kind of think about how to be more productive at work. But I feel like work days are more like for socializing for me, where I get to catch up with everyone, and then I'm more focused when I'm at home. So a little bit of like a tricky situation type of thing, but all good. You need a good balance. And then what am I here to talk to you guys about? So I actually wanted to record this yesterday, but I just was feeling some type of way this weekend. I was like, I just want to be at home. I want to rest. And being broke will do that to you, honestly. You be not wanting to go out and see anybody because you just feel shite. Jokes. I'm joking. But it was like a lay low type weekend. Literally just slept, read a book, listen to a podcast. I think maybe that's why I felt a little bit more upbeat today, because before I went to bed, I put on a podcast, I lit a candle, and for the first time in months, I did some tapping. And I don't know, I feel like maybe it just kind of energized me and cleansed me. And I think I'm going to do it again today, where I just light a candle, do a little bit of tapping. It made me feel so much better. And honestly, I felt like I was crying, because I was like, oh my gosh, there's this negativity that's been like stored in my body, and now it's releasing, and what. So yeah, that in itself is gonna be such a vibe when I do that later on after I shower. I might even put on a face mask, might even listen to a podcast before I do that, but definitely will be prioritizing that. And then what else did I want to come chat to you guys about? Oh, yes. So I was saying I wanted to actually record a podcast episode yesterday, but I was just feeling unproductive in a productive way, as in I just wanted to zone out and listen to something calming for my spirit. And quite honestly, I felt like a lot of like skittish, I can't speak, a lot of skittish energy yesterday. I was like feeling like, I don't even know how to explain it. I was like checking my phone, knowing that nothing was there. I couldn't really concentrate for too long, but I was reading a book. Like I would read like one page of the book, and then I'd be like checking my phone. Then I was like overindulging in content on YouTube. And I think that's why I was like, no, can you listen to something productive like a podcast to kind of ease your soul? And that kind of helped me. And then I just read a few chapters, and then I was like, okay, I'm ready for bed. I'm going to bed. So that kind of helped. And I feel like these work from home days have been really helping me up my energy a little bit during a time whereby it's really busy and really stressful and all of that. But anyway, guys, I keep getting off course, and I'm talking about productivity and. So I'm going to just stick the podcast that I don't know if it's relevant to this episode actually. Actually, it is. The one that I listened to was it was through the Trying Not to Care podcast, and it was all about like seasonal depression, and she had some really, really good tips in there if anyone ever goes through that. So I think I will link that in my description if you want to check it out later. But ultimately, what I was thinking about yesterday that I really wanted to record, and kind of just decided that I was going to save it for today when I spoke to you guys, is I had a realization that I've been single for like almost a year and a bit now. Granted, it doesn't really feel like, I don't know, that relationship feels like it was so long ago, and it was so far from the type of relationship that I would want for myself, like then and even now. And so I really wanted to share some of my perspectives and my learnings on what I've learned, being single for a minute and a half, and how that process has been, and how I'm feeling about it, and all of that. So I can tell you off the bat, I feel really great about being single right now. Honestly, while I was in that relationship, I felt like I was single. And I was like, I don't really understand why I'm dating this person. I may as well just date myself, because it just feels like this person is not really adding much value to my life that my best friends and my work colleagues and my family can provide for me, And I think one of the big things that I kind of learned, and that I've picked up on just with regards to my dating history and all of that, is that, number one, when I'm single and I start getting into this phase of meeting new people and like perhaps going on a couple of dates with one person or another, I feel like, I don't know, if I put this pressure on myself to kind of decide on one person off the bat, not to say I'm gonna fuck around or whatever it is, but you do you, whatever calls to you. But for me, I feel like I almost get too settled on one person, like all at once. Like, if I think of before I got into the relationship with the last one, I literally had like a number of guys that I was chatting to, and like some of them, I was meeting up with on the regular and all of that. And I decided on that one because at that moment in time, it kind of just felt like he was more like reminiscent of something or a relationship that I had in the past. And that kind of made me feel safe in a sense. So I was like, oh, familiar territory, like let me lean towards that, and turned out to be completely wrong for me. And so I think this time around, when I'm like entering this phase, because this phase I feel like is currently happening, whereby now all of a sudden I've kind of been exposed to all of these new people, and I'm getting to know new people, and I feel like, I latch on to the one that I feel like is like, oh my gosh, they did this for me, did that for me, or whatever. But like, I just feel like I'm in that kind of phase whereby I'm like, I need someone to really show me that they're down for me. Like, really go all out and just do the things, be consistent, ask me out on dates regularly where I don't feel like I'm chasing after them. Like, literally, honestly, do the most. And some of this shit feels like it's so baseline and so like, well, duh, it has to be in this way. But I realize like when I look back on my dating history, I feel like I haven't really experienced that. Like, granted, yes, there was one that did all of that shit for me, who really went out to show me that he was like paying attention to the shit that I liked. He was taking me out on regular dates and all of that. But, when I think about it now, my intention was never to date him. I was just like, oh, he's such a cool person. Like, he's a good friend. And then I ended up dating him, and it was actually awful. And it just wasn't the right relationship for me. And I didn't listen to myself. And so, like, I think the thing is now is to thoroughly get to know, people, and not to necessarily settle on one off the bat if, for example, he does happen to take me on a date or does happen to do one nice thing for me, because ultimately I want to be able to make the best decision for me. I want to be able to experience like these people in different settings and just really understand like the type of person that they are before I decide to commit to them, because ultimately my goal is to get into a long-term relationship, and I shouldn't rush that process just for the sake of wanting to be in a relationship. You know what I mean? And I've just come to the realization right now that I'm not necessarily chasing a relationship right now. And it's so weird because I feel like I've said it like a couple of times before on this podcast that literally at the beginning of the year, I was so down and out and heart sore about wanting to be in a relationship with a specific person. And I was like going through the most, and I was feeling like I was so sad and just so like my heart was like calling out to this person, and I'm like, why does he not want me? All of that, like, and this person is probably going through his own shit, like he probably is. And I don't know, I've just come to realize that when you're dating and okay, maybe there is one particular person that really calls to you, that you really like, and they've got some of the attributes and the characteristics that you want in a partner, it doesn't always necessarily mean that they are that person. I mean, not to say that the person that you're crushing on, who maybe is crushing on you back, isn't the one. Like, weird shit happens in this lifetime. Like, you may, like, right now might not be the time, like, but 5 months down the line, like, who knows what might happen. But I think in my case, when I look at me, I tend to get so hung up on that specific person that I hold myself back from not experiencing other people who could maybe be better for me in different ways that I'm not even aware of. And so I feel like we mustn't rob ourselves of the opportunity of at least getting to know other people, even if we are hung up off of one person. And not to say that you must specifically go out looking for like another person to fill the void of this person, not that there must be a void, or to make this person jealous. But if you truly feel in your heart of hearts that you want to get to know other people, you can hold space, or you can have feelings for that particular person, but still give yourself the opportunity to get to know other people and see, you know, how they treat you and what that experience is. Because maybe you might find that there's other qualities that that person shows you that you want and you need in a relationship that the other person doesn't have. And so it just broadens your horizons in terms of giving you more clarity in terms of what is actually meant for you. And, you know, when I started thinking about it this way, because I don't know, I think I got it into my head that no, like, I'm not gonna date someone. I don't feel like dating. I don't want to date anyone. Like, I hate dating. It sucks. All of that stuff. I feel like I went through a period of that because, like, I was also feeling so depressed that I couldn't find, or I wasn't seeing anyone that caught my eye and caught my interest, because I feel like I'm a little bit of a lover girl. I do thrive off of flirting. Why would I say it like that? I thrive off of flirting. I thrive off of like meeting new people. Like, it gives me energy in a sense. And I think I was feeling really down and out of myself because I wasn't in that era or in that vibe, and it was making me feel so depressed and more upset over the fact that I felt like I had unrequited like feelings towards, or what am I trying to say? Like, I had these feelings for this one person, like don't seem to be reciprocating that. And on top of that, like, I feel like I'm fucking lonely because no one seems to be interested in me and my life is boring and it sucks. And you go through that period sometimes. It just feels like the options are not opening up to you, and it feels like flipping dire out in the streets, honestly. And I feel like the best thing for me in terms of working through that is to acknowledge those feelings, because ultimately we're human beings. We want connection. We want, you know, to get to know, well, not everybody, but most of us want that connection. We want to meet that person that like sets our hearts on fire and a flutter and all of that. We want that, and we're not wrong for wanting it. But like, what really helped was to start going within and just looking at myself in that moment in time. It was like, okay, Dwayne, this is the situation. Okay, you don't have any romantic prospects around, and maybe that's a good thing. This is your time to spend with yourself. And during that time, I was seeing so much like content from these beautiful women saying, you know, if you were meant to be in a relationship right now, you would be in a relationship right now. And who's to say that the next relationship that you get into, if your future soulmate or whoever had to walk into your life like right now, you wouldn't, and you are never to be single again, like how would you feel? You don't want to enter that situation and then look back and be like, oh, I missed those days when I was able to do whatever and not really check in with anybody and flirt with who I wanted and to go out with friends and just like look at hot people, whatever it is. So you just need to use the time that you have with yourself in the best way, because like you could never be alone after this, like shit. And I feel like the more I kind of heard that and the more I got that into my mind, the more I really started to value and treasure this, I guess, gift I had received. Sorry, I just got distracted. I'm like, who just drove in? I don't know you. But the more I started to treasure this like gift of being alone and spending some time with myself and getting to know myself. Like for the past, before this year, like I was kind of like speaking and dating this person for a period of 2 years. I didn't really have a moment to myself. Like, yes, granted, I'd have like days here and there where I'd get to like, go within my own shell and whatever. But it just felt like I always had to worry about him because he was the person attached to me. And I'm like, dude, for the first time in a year, you don't have to worry about anybody. You don't have to fucking buy birthday presents for this additional person. You already got enough on your hands with your family. You don't have to fucking explain yourself if you spend money in a specific way. You don't have to fucking like, oh, what's wrong? Tell me, why aren't you talking to me? And I don't have to put up with anybody's shit but my own. Like, why would I want that? And so I think this kind of coming to Jesus moment within and just like creating my own sunshine and investing in the things that really made me feel happy and free and excited and exploring, and not really having to tell a lot of people what I do on the side and all of that shit, I feel like has given me a sense of peace and a sense of really wanting to preserve my peace as much as possible. And so when the prospect of me getting into a relationship like first started popping up, when I went on like my first date in like forever, and that was a whole other story on the side, I actually kind of freaked out because I was like, oh shit, like what if this is it? Like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I haven't created the type of environment that I'd want somebody to come into and like kind of invade almost. But also, if someone's coming into my space, I don't want them to feel like they're invading. I want them to feel like an extra set of peace, if that makes sense. Like, that's what I want now. I feel like when I was in my previous relationship and in some of the relationships I've been in before, I was very much in my masculine era of like, baby girl, I'm going to drive you around. I'll pay for the bill. I'll do this. And I'm not that girl. Like, I don't thrive in that environment. It actually made me feel fucking depressed. And that's why I was like, I may as well be dating myself. And so to now be in a different position whereby, I've had this opportunity to go out on dates with people and guys are willing to do shit for me, it's like I've just discovered like a whole different new ball game, and I like it. Like, I want to offer to come fetch me from my house, like do shit for me, like take me out on a date, ask me out on the date. Why am I asking you? And I feel like we just deserve that. We just, like, in my mind, I feel like dating shouldn't be so stressful and worrisome. It should be fun and it should be an experience. And another thing that I've picked up on is that I kind of also have got into my head, like, if I go on a date with this person, then this is my person. Like, it has to be my person. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? Meanwhile, it doesn't always have to be your person. Not to say that you must just date anybody that comes there and asks you on a date. No. my prerequisite for dates is that I need to have like some sort of an active interest in that person, and I need to be like, oh, I think there could be a vibe here, like let's explore it some more by hanging out, talking, all of that stuff, whatever it is. But it doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to work out, and it won't always work out. But it's like a great opportunity to get like to know new people and kind of figure out what your vibe is in the dating realm, and date outside of like your usual type if that person interests you in some way, shape, or form, you know? So it's a really interesting and fun space to be in. And like in some ways I feel like it's practice for when the real thing does come along. And it's also a really great opportunity to start exercising some of the things that I've been learning through therapy. Like, for example, setting boundaries and really speaking up when things aren't really sitting well. Like, for example, when I went on the date with this gent like a month or two ago, it just felt like it was moving really fast for me. And it was really scary for me to be like, hey, you're cool and all, and I enjoy chatting to you, but that was just way too fast for me. I'm not really vibing with that. Like, that's not really like my vibe. And he was really receptive to it. And I was really proud of myself for being able to state a boundary and say, listen, I'm not okay with this. Like, you know, still kind of enjoying the vibes. Okay, here, like now, like maybe not so much. I don't think it's going in the romantic path. But I haven't really stated that yet. And you don't always have to. It's just casual dating. But yeah, it's just been a process of getting to know yourself. And that's the other thing that I've been learning, is that like through dating, you kind of get to know yourself. You'll learn things that maybe you don't necessarily like about yourself, things that you love about yourself, how you show up for other people, how you show love, all of that. And you just need to take it as that sort of experience, which is kind of cool and just really fun. And I think it's just, you know, getting to know new people in the past couple of weeks and chatting to people, it's just kind of reinvigorated my sense of self almost. And it's kind of made me excited about like pouring more into myself. And, you know, I've just been thinking about it. I'm like, I really want to like zhuzh up the style. Like, I know it feels like a different like segue into things, but it's like also just making me reevaluate and think about like how I show up, you know? So it's like, I don't know, I really want to come across as this type of person, and this type of person would dress like this, would wear her hair like this, would do this, would experiment with this. And yeah, I don't know. I just think the whole process of being single has just really, it's just been so nice. It's just made me, you know, sit down and just re-look all the different areas of my life, because I feel like while I was in this particular relationship, I lost sight of my goals. Like, I knew that they were there, but I wasn't really like consistent in terms of making sure they were being done. Like, my financial goals fell behind. And quite honestly, I feel like it's because his financial goals and his life wasn't the healthiest when it came to that. And I feel like it rubbed off on me. And so when I see content around people like, shit, like sometimes the partner that you pick is a reflection of how you feel about yourself and how you view yourself. And sometimes you tend to kind of take on some of the habits, good and bad, that person has. I feel like it's so true. I feel like I kind of let myself down on that one, because I don't know, I just don't think, and I think I knew when I got into it that was the ultimate relationship for me. But it was during a really confusing time. It was like literally COVID had started, and I don't know, I just feel like I didn't really have a true sense of who I was as an individual and what I wanted to do. Like, it was a little bit hazy and I kind of knew, but I think it was like when I was really in it, I was like, nah, shit, like, no, dude, like, this is not it for me. And I think what helped me kind of pull myself out of it was, I guess, getting to know somebody that showed me what my romantic life could be like, you know? Just in the way that he acted and the way he was. And I feel like that's why I was so hung up on him for the longest period of time, because I think in my eyes it was like, oh my God, you're my hero. You kind of got me out this terrible situation to show me what it was meant to be like. And, you know, sometimes the person that you kind of like after, you know, a relationship ends won't end up being that person that you're meant to be with. And it's a hard pill to swallow, because you really want it to be, because it's like, fuck, but you've got all the qualities, you've got all of the things. But sometimes those people just come in to show you, you know, what you're worthy of. And, you know, it can be really emotional. And it's getting me emotional, because I'm like, fuck, like, it's not always it, you know, and you may want it to be, but it's not. But ultimately, you mustn't rely on those people to pull you out of, I mean, sometimes you can, but must always try not to make other people your saviors and your heroes. You gotta be the hero for yourself. And I was getting there, you know, ending the relationship or whatever. I feel like it would have taken me more time, even if this guy hadn't like stepped in to be like, this is the vibes. But yeah, I feel like it's, being single is a little bit of a learning process, and you become that hero for yourself and you stand up for yourself. And I just feel like it's one of the most beautiful things ever. And granted, we complain about being single because it's nice to have somebody that you can love and kiss upon and have support and all of that stuff. But being single is fucking fabulous, and it's amazing. And if you're going to unsingle yourself, it better be for someone that is way worthy and deserving of your time, of your love, and all of that. Like, don't settle for somebody that is average and someone that's not going to give you the love and the life that you desire. And that is the ultimate thing that I've learned, is just to stop settling and stop smaying and stop playing small in that dating game. Like, the days for that are over. Like, we are grown ass fucking women. We cannot be having dates in the car eating McDonald's. Like, that was cute in like high school and in college. I mean, no shade or tea if that's what you do in your relationship. I'm sorry. I mean, if he's trying to get you like that, I'd be a little bit worried, honestly. But like, if you're dating the person and you've become used to them and that's your thing, that's fun. You get McDonald's in the middle of the night, you know, and chill and then go home. That's your business. But it can't be like that's the regular thing. We just eat McDonald's in the car like that. No, we're trying to level up, and we're trying to invite people into our lives, into our circles that up level us and keep us, what's the word I'm looking for? And just keep us elevated. You don't want someone that's going to come into your life and bring you down. You want someone that's going to like challenge you to be better and to like level up, and someone who's going to challenge your thinking and, I don't know, boss up with you, I guess, if they're not already at the bossed up level. Like, you want someone with that growth mindset, not someone who's going to pull you down and be negative Nancy all the time. You're way more deserving than that. And yeah, I've actually had really fun talking about, I cannot fucking speak. I think I need to go inside and drink a grandpa. But yeah, you just deserve way better than that. It's 2023 going into 2024. Like, let's up level our lives, like, hectically, from dating, from work, from like personal, like, let's do this shit. Like, I'm so excited. Once my money situation is right, you best believe I will be upgrading my wardrobe like you won't believe. I think I just need like a whole style rechange. I just need to like mix up the vibes somehow. Like, I've been thinking about it and I've been talking to my best friend about it. I just feel like I need to feel like a different person in the best way possible. Like, I don't necessarily know what that looks like, but I feel like it just needs to happen, because I just feel like there just needs to be a switch somewhere so we can just invite a new energy, a new vibe, and all of that. So yeah. Anyway, this has been really fun to talk about. And I know it wasn't like step 1, step 2, step 3. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work in that way. I just work in paragraphs. But thank you so much for spending some time with me. I appreciate you. I hope that, this episode was of value, that you could take something away from it. Or like ultimately just remind you what a badass bitch you are and how you deserve so much better than these fucking frogs that are out here in the swamp and in the streets. Yeah. Anyway, please take a look in the description for all of my links to my socials, my blog, which I update on like a bi-weekly, twice a week, on a twice a week basis. I've got links to like products like on the Amazons and all of that if you want to go check that out. Link to my 20-day self-care workbook is also there. And also, please, if you have the opportunity, if you want to, actually no, if you want to help me out, can you please review the podcast? But can it be like the 5 stars? I will take 4.5. That works too. But if I could make you smile, like, can you just give it a 4.5, a 5? Anything less than that, that's okay. Just send me a private email and I'll work on it. I don't even have a private email, but I don't know. Anyway, thank you, all of that good stuff. And then don't forget, everything that you do in this life, like whether it's taking yourself out for an ice cream date or changing, your side parting, do it with love and a sprinkling, a smidgling. I never know what another word is. Like, if you can you tell me, like, telepathically, what's another word for this? Like a smidgling, a dropling, a spoonful of magic. Yeah, and if I don't talk to you tomorrow, I'll talk to you the day after that. I love and appreciate you very much, you beautiful human being. Take care of yourself always, and I'll see you and speak to you later. Goodbye. Love and lot.